I mean, just looking back, it's so hard to put into the word that I'll say. It's to say that I've actually been in corporate for a decade. I'm like, that is so much life, so much life. It's like, what I could have been doing during that time? I decided to make that leap to believe in myself and to pursue this opportunity that I've created that I feel like is going to be super impactful in the travel and digital nomad world. But it's hard because it's a new brand, but if you don't believe in yourself, then who will? Oh my gosh. Well, I would say like family part, a lot of fear and lack of the unknown and unsure of like, is this gonna work? Like being scared of the fact that I'm not going down the most stable path. And then through friends and through like my other nomad friends are like so proud, so excited to see where that goes. And to be living the dream that I've had for since I was 19 at the Valles Festival. You spend a lot of time and energy in the beginning. You're basically planting a garden and you won't see anything for a while. So you have to like be patient and realize that it will blossom if you keep nurturing it.
Welcome to the Winging It Travel podcast with me, James Hammond, where every Monday I'll be joined by guests to talk about their travel stories, travel tips, backpacking advice, and so much more. Right now, I'm taking the podcast on the road travelling with me, so tune in every week for short form episodes detailing all my travels alongside my Monday guest episode. Are you a backpacker, traveller, gap year student, or simply someone who loves to travel? Then this is the podcast for you. This is a casual, informative podcast designed for you to inspire you to travel. There'll be stories to tell, tips to share, and experiences to inspire. Welcome to the show. Let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome to this week's episode where I'm joined by Ranika Koneru, the owner of Cloud Connections. Rani has been a digital nomad for 3 years and is now a published author. Today we're going to talk about that book, Cloud Connections, and also her travel history. Rani, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm so excited to be here. Hi, James.
Yeah, great to have you. So tell the people listening right now, where are you in the world?
I am currently in the town of Bansko in Bulgaria, surrounded by the Pirin Mountains as we speak. It's a town about a couple hours away from the capital of Sofia.
Dream. We were going to go to Bulgaria this year on the Interrail pass, but we couldn't get through Serbia from where we were, from like Croatia down that side. So we had to kind of sack that off, unfortunately, and go a bit further Central Europe. But would love to visit.
Yeah, I highly recommend coming at this time of the year because I'm here for a conference/festival and it's been super impactful.
For listeners now then, what is Bulgaria like? I mean, it's I'd say a unique country for people to travel to in Europe. It doesn't get like the limelight or the social media, but I'd imagine it's fairly cheaper, but also there's probably some hidden gems there, I reckon.
Oh yeah, I think the infrastructure here is amazing because there's a lot of people that could speak English. I haven't had the best experiences in Sofia, but like being on the countryside, it's smaller, so the people have been a lot friendlier. So I think it's up and coming, and rents are usually 200 going. I'm like, is that like I feel like almost bad for paying that amount, and just like it's amazing, and you get a lot
Wow.
of value, and there's so like every outdoor activity you could imagine wanting to do in Bansko is available. So that's why they have the Nomad Digital Nomad conference here. And it's my second time.
Wow. $200
Hmm.
a month.
It might be going up a little bit to 300.
That is insane. Just to give you an idea, Vancouver is $2,000 a month, and that's for a one-bedroom apartment condo. So yeah, that's crazy cheap.
So it
Crikey.
has been drawing a lot of nomads from around the world.
And let's talk about your early life. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in San Antonio, Texas, but my parents did come over from India, so I've had a bit of a upbringing, like very culturally, and not being exposed to a lot of Indians within Texas in the 90s.
Is Texas getting better for that, or is it still the same, do you think? Like that
Oh,
cultural stuff?
absolutely. With like the boom of like the tech industry there,
Ah, yeah,
it's there's everyone.
got it. Okay. And was there any particular travel or vacation early doors that may have sparked a bit of interest in travel?
Oh, yeah. I would say like my first time going to study abroad in Spain. when I was 19 and like not with my parents. It was so eye-opening. It made me realize like also during that time, like on the weekends, you get to travel to other countries. And I'm
Mm.
like, wait, you can like be on a plane and be in like a whole other country with culture and food and language, and or even like on a train, and like in America you just go somewhere else like for a few hours and you're still, it doesn't feel any different, but here it's just like incredible, and wanting to see more of that since. And as a 19-year-old you have like you were able to drink like sangria and stuff, so that it's not, I was like, I'm going back to the US. I'm like, no, reverse culture shock.
Oh yeah, I think people forget that the US is 21, isn't it?
Yeah, still is.
I don't understand that rule because you all go to university and college at 18, 19. Well, that's
Exactly.
no fun if you're going to university and college and you've got to drink Coca-Colas and Sprites, is it?
I mean, it encourages a lot of underage
Yeah.
drinking, if you will.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. And you're now sipping a wine as well.
It's 7 p.m. in Bulgaria, so
Okay. Yeah.
this is technically like a little dinner vibes.
Got it. Is it Bulgarian wine?
It is actually a Bulgarian Sauvignon Blanc.
Oh, lovely. Nice. You had a lot of travel because classically, from my experience of interviewing Americans, they all pretty much study abroad. It seems, and Canada as well. It seems to be a big thing over here to
Mm,
go to Europe, do a semester or do a year. But that's pretty cool because I think in UK universities that's not really a thing. Very
okay.
rare. Yeah. So that's pretty cool, and
That's
you got exposure pretty young.
Yes, because I know a lot of Europe has Erasmus, so I'm surprised the UK isn't more in forward there.
Yeah. Do you know what UK is? I think quite unique with university. They push for you to go somewhere else, not your home city, But this city's only like 3 hours drive away. There's a big thing to go somewhere completely different to your city and to stay there and live that for 3 years. Maybe it's become more popular now. It's a long time ago since I went, but yeah, maybe international placements are becoming a thing. Over here, always seems to be the regular.
Well, hopefully that's changing.
If you had an interest in travel at the early doors, did you think that maybe when you finished university that might be a thing for you to go and do, or was it straight into like corporate lifestyle or a corporate job?
I was hoping for more travel. Like my original dream job graduating was working at the Four Seasons, and then because they encourage travel, and like whenever you finished a year at a place, you could opt for another location that they had. But then I did end up going into the corporate world.
And what was your role in the corporate world?
So it was a lot of both in the tech and then the finance sectors. And my first job out of college was working at General Motors in Austin, Texas. So I went to school in Florida and then I came back to Texas. Like my parents were delighted, but I was like, oh no.
We'll come to this a bit more detail later, but how did that shape your early years for working? Because you do hear a lot of stories about corporate world where people just can't do it anymore, or they think there's more to life than just doing the real hardcore, I guess, corporate lifestyle.
Well, it's also like when you graduate college, like I was 21, and when you're that young, and are kind of told by like societal and cultural and like family influences that this is the path, and you're doing a great job because you're following that path, you're going to college, you're getting the grades, you're then like having the system of like then you go into corporate. And so I felt like it was like, oh my gosh, yes, I just getting that big girl job out of college, like it's so exciting of all these opportunities, and so it was a whole different world like that I feel like college doesn't also prepare you for, is to have these like corporate like experiences, and of course it's all company dependent on
Mm.
some of these pros and cons.
That's what I'm very much interested in. Is like with your company, what was your like vacation allowance per year, for example?
I feel I've been lucky in finding places or companies that were really good.
Ah, okay.
So I remember to start, it was 3 weeks.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's believe it or not for Europeans, that's actually not too bad over here. I think my partner had
Hmm.
2 weeks.
Okay. Nothing.
I had 5, which is quite lucky over here. With a week off at Christmas, that's actually 6 weeks. 3 weeks is doable,
Yeah.
but it's not a lot.
We had the week off at Christmas too. I forgot. It was
Ah,
so long
okay.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. We're going to come to the bit of your life where you I guess in quotation marks, made the leap to maybe be more as a self-employed / business owner, entrepreneur. But before that, how long did you last in corporate before you made that decision?
I mean, just looking back, it's so hard to put into the word that I'll say to say that I've actually been in corporate for a decade. I'm like, that is so much life, so much life. It's like, what else I could have been doing during that time?
But at least you made the jump, though. I mean, some people are probably listening and still in that, right?
Fair.
I think actions speak louder. I mean, if you're thinking that another 10 years down the line, like, 2 decades in corporate, imagine that.
It is something, though, that I thought was a good foundation and building block, because like a lot of places in the US are credit based. So I was able, thanks to the fact that I had what was like a reputable job, I was able to get qualified for a loan to buy a home. So I
Okay.
always tell people I'm homeless, but I have a home, and like actually being in the corporate world was okay for that.
Yeah.
For showing your credibility, or like, for example, trying to get residency in Mexico, showing them you are able to have this stability, if you will help with those kinds of processes.
Okay. And very quickly on Mexico, you mentioned their residency. Is that quite easy to get for Americans?
Yes, it is pretty easy. And I know that Vegas is supposed to be the easiest consulate to go through the process.
What's the criteria to get that?
I think you have to show a certain amount that you're making,
Okay.
or show how much overall your net value is worth. So that's like another opportunity if you're not necessarily wanting to be in corporate, which is great.
So a lot of people do that just to go and live in Mexico, I guess, because it's cheaper. And Mexico is huge, so I guess there's a big industry there, I'd imagine.
And it's incredible. Just like the food culture and alone.
It's got to be the best in the world, isn't it? One of the best.
I think so, yeah. And they love adding a little spice.
Mexico is in my top 3.
Okay. I know, like the UK doesn't have a lot of choice to offer the world.
Good point. I was speaking to my guide in Nepal a few months ago about this. Because I asked them, what do you eat? Like, just day to day, like, what's your cuisine? And they have dal bat, which is like a thali. And I said, anything else? He goes, no, we just have that twice a day and maybe 3 times a day. And it's the same. It's just the dal, the rice, the papadom, etc., all in a dish. They cook it all up together in big batch and have it. And he said, what do you have? I was like, well, UK doesn't really have a cuisine. I might have a bit of pasta, which is obviously Italian. I might have a bit of dal or rice, which is obviously Indian or South Asian based. And then I might have a pizza. So we don't really have a cuisine, and it's different every day. It's not the same. That's quite an interesting conversation.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I am a big foodie, so I love being able to explore the world through that.
Yeah, it's a big part of the travel experience, I think, especially local food, proper local food. Okay, we'll come to that later in the episode. So, making the leap. So you obviously, in your mind, must have thought, well, I want to start my own company. But how long was the process from thinking about it, putting some actions in, and then actually leaving? How long was that?
So yeah, it's quite a journey, and it doesn't happen overnight, but and then when it does happen overnight, it's because of all like the processes and thoughts that have happened before.
Yeah.
But I got the idea for Cloud Connections when I was at Bansko Nomad Fest last year, just being surrounded with a bunch of like incredible and successful entrepreneurs. And then I was still working a full-time job role at a tech company in Seattle, and doing these sort of things simultaneously, because it is a mental struggle to like let go of that consistency of getting your paycheck come into your bank account. And so I just wanted to make sure that I could like start putting the building blocks and the foundation of this business. And I did my very first launch recently in Rio for the Carnival festival, which was amazing. You gotta share more about Carnival later, but me being able to do that and see that and show that like people were having a great time and experience. I was like, that was in February. I decided in March, roughly end of March, that my energy and alignment with this corporate role is no longer working, and I've just been been drained, and it's just not ideal. And so I decided to make that leap to believe in myself and to pursue this opportunity that I've created that I feel like is going to be super impactful in the travel and digital nomad world. But it's hard because it's a new brand, and but if you don't believe in yourself, then who will?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally right. And also, I guess you would have to put in provisions. So I'm guessing, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but you'd have to make sure, if you listen now, you need the financial backing from yourself. So I guess that would require savings from your current role, like previously, or a loan, I guess, if you're willing to make that leap. Make sure that gives you enough time to get your company out there, and I guess that's what you're doing now, is like, promoting, get it done. That is quite a huge change, because it's quite a difficult concept to not have that regular income in your bank account every week or 2 weeks or month.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't agree with you more in that. Like, what one strategy, and like as far as trying to be like, I'm learning how to budget now, and
Mm.
I've been recently dating a guy that, or a Dutch guy that is like a pro at this, and so I've been learning some tricks to implement into my daily life.
Budgeting is so key. And I think you lose sight of that a little bit when you have a regular income, because you can throw away $40 for a meal out because it's just coming back next month, right? But you do learn a lot when you
Mhm.
don't have income. That's the biggest thing we've learned this year, how to maximize, even though we're not done too well at it, but we've done okay, is to maximize the budget that you have, because it is a skill. I think it's a skill.
And especially if you're in Bulgaria and your rent can be 200, maybe 300 a month, and it helps it goes a longer way.
Absolutely. I still can't get over that. That's amazing. Okay, so you put some provisions in place. Let's talk about Cloud Connections then first. What is Cloud Connections, and what do you offer as a brand?
So Cloud Connections is a uh, digital nomad festival, like travel retreat company focusing on cultural festivals all around the world. And it's for people that are also aspiring to be nomads and into the space. And so it offers you the ability to integrate, immerse yourself within a culture. Like for example, in Rio, I found somebody that I found a person from Rio who are called cariocas. That was a samba instructor, came to teach us samba. We would go and hang out with him. He would take us to the bars to meet some of his friends and integrate. And then he was also a samba dancer for one of the top samba schools, which for in Carnival, samba schools perform a few nights throughout the week. It's a big competition for
Hmm.
these schools. They
Yeah.
actually start training now, which is like, it's not till next February. I'm like, wow.
That's crazy. And this is quite a niche area, right? Like festivals linked with digital nomads, because digital nomads is quite a big area to go into, but you're targeting festivals, which is cool, because I don't think I've ever heard that from anyone who
Mhm.
specifically goes to festivals to do that type of work or type of business.
I would say so. I hope so. And like, I've been a digital nomad for about 3 years now. So I have realized that festivals are a great way and reason to come into a country and to experience that culture and to kind of plan yourself and your calendar around them. So I thought it would be a great way to incorporate that into the nomad space. Well, the priority would be the festivals, but also connecting with other nomads and through like skill shares and workshops that'll also take place during that time.
Okay, and you mentioned affiliate marketing, I think, on your website.
Hmm.
Can you maybe explain a little bit what that is to the listeners?
So, if for example, you were to go to a restaurant and you're telling your friend, like, this is the best restaurant in town, let's go eat here. Um, and you both do, and you spend your money and then you leave. But you made this recommendation. This restaurant wouldn't have gotten your friend's business if it wasn't for you sharing that. So
Hmm.
affiliate marketing is about you sharing brands that you love and resonate with. And they have a program set up where you can make money because you're doing them a great service of bringing people to you or to them because of you.
And if people are not sure what that means, they can go to my show notes, because I have a few affiliate marketing links on there. If you're not sure what that is, yeah, I've got a few travel ones like Expedia and stuff like that. They're great for blogging, aren't they? if you're into your blogging, your writing.
Yes, and I've just recently started into the world of blogging and connecting all those links and affiliate programs, signing up for those affiliate programs.
It's pretty cool, and I think a lot of digital nomads who are into that space have a nice base income from that. I guess some people really smash it, but it's nice to have that regular income if you can get your blogs out there, SEO and all that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, so I mean, with anything though, the setup is always going to be the hardest, most time consuming part. But once you get that infrastructure in place, then I recently met like a travel blogging couple with affiliate links that are making over 100,000 a month on their sites for blogs.
God, crikey, that'll do.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
good.
How did you get into the festival sphere? Was there something that you'd done previously and just thought, was it something back in the past?
I say like so when I studied abroad in Spain, it was in the springtime, and that was around the time of Fallas, which is a beautiful festival where everyone in the community got together to build floats during the entire year about like the different sins of man, and then during the Fallas time, they would go in and burn that, and it would be anew for their next year. And so I remember seeing this, like this festival was really long. It was like a week or two. And then there's lots of little events leading up to that, like some of the best fireworks in my life. I realized like how it was bringing everyone together, how people from all around the world were coming, how people just wanted to celebrate, and there's so much joy and passion, and like kids to grandmas were coming together, and it was just all generations. So I loved that, and I tried to go to a couple other festivals and just realized like this is something that's so incredible, and it would be such a dream to be able to go to all of them. So I decided like last year I went to Carnival for the first time. There's so many people that were interested in going that I'm like, okay, I feel like even within the nomad space, this is so important and big and a reason to go somewhere. And I was like, I really want to go to them. I would love for other people to join me going to them. So that's where this idea came through. And I just think it's such a lovely way to experience a city you're in.
Yeah, I just haven't done enough festivals. Like
Yeah.
barely any. I'm trying to recall now, like in I don't know last 10 years, it's actually quite criminal if I think about it. I'm gonna have to come and join you on a trip, just experience
Yeah,
one
where would you
because
want to go?
that is a great question. We are going to talk about Rio Festival, Carnival one. I think that's obviously high on a lot of people's lists, and I have been to Rio, and I imagine that'd be quite good fun. But again, I don't know that many festivals. If I was to try and name some, a bit of a struggle. The Notting Hill Carnival Festival is a classic one. But
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know too many. Maybe you can tell people three, apart from Rio, you mentioned that one, but maybe three other ones that maybe you want to go to or you have been to, like festivals.
So I can just like name three in Spain. I would, or even four. Like out of like Spain has one of like the highest concentrations of festivals.
Okay,
So like in Valencia, there's Fallas,
yeah.
a town I think 45 to 50 minutes away from Valencia in Buñol. There's a Tomatina festival, which is taking place actually in end of August, where it's like the world's largest food fight, where you throw tomatoes at each other.
Okay, yeah,
In Pamplona, there's the famous Running of the Bulls festival.
yeah.
And then down below, there is a like a super soaker festival, but with wine. And I don't remember that city, but I know it's in
Okay.
Spain, northern Spain. So they take it to the next level. They really love their wine there. And then in southern Spain, there is a Semana Santa, which is takes place around Easter time.
Gosh, Spain is a place to be then.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best countries for like festivals. They love to celebrate.
That's awesome. Okay, that's brilliant. And what is next for you for a festival that you're going to appear at?
So my next one is going to be at the end of November for the Yipeng and the Loy Krathong. So you get not one but two
Cool.
at the same time frame. So I'll have it from November 23rd to December 2nd. And these festivals are in Chiang Mai, Thailand, which is northern Thailand. So think more like jungly, lush, like elephant
Mm.
vibes. And so the city of Chiang Mai is really walkable, really great nomad base already. And so during these two festivals, Yipang is also the Lantern Festival. You get to make a lantern out of a bamboo and then release that. And it's a way to release all the fears and doubts and the negativity into your life and start anew. With the Loy Krathong, it is little wooden boats that you make. And so I have an activity where we'll make these little wooden boats with some of the local artists in that community. And then be able to place a candle and see it drifting on the river.
Oh, wow. Actually, thinking back now, I did do something in Thailand back in the day, like release a lantern we wrote something on it. I can't remember what it was. Yeah, that was in Koh Tao, I think, on the island. And Chiang Mai is a great spot. It's a really nice place to be in Thailand. Very different to the rest of Thailand that people think of, the islands and Bangkok. It's quite a nice little, I think it's a jungly vibe. I think it's definitely that up there.
And it's charming because it is like very like walkable and such a great hub in terms of food and culture.
Oh yeah, we done a cooking course there in Chiang Mai. That was unbelievable. Way too much food. But like you go to a local market, you pick your food, you cook the food, and they give you a little book with instructions. It really was a cool experience there. I've been twice. One was a bit party vibe, and the other was a bit more cultural, should we say? Both equally as good. But yeah, what a place! What a place! Thailand's great in general. For Cloud Connections, how does someone apply to join or work with you?
Great question. So you can go to my website, cloudconnections.co, and there's a place to apply now. You'll go through a set of questions like what is your name, contact info, and at the end of that, you'd want to book a Calendly call with me. And then we'll just have a chat, see what your options are. And so for Chiang Mai, a private room would be $18.99 US, and then a shared space would be $13.99. That would be over the course of 10 days and include some of your activities, food, accommodations, and skill shares, workshops, networking. And I also do have an affiliate program where if you're able to refer friends that sign up, then you will be given $300. So we'll just, if you want, reach out to me. We'll talk about what code to use and get you set up.
That's brilliant. We'll come back round at the end of the episode to finalise like the links and where to find you. But that's great. And of course, I put them in the show notes so people can just click a link and get you going. What has been like the reaction, maybe from friends and family, but also from clients, from you creating this company, Cloud Connections, but also coming out of the corporate world into your own entrepreneurial space?
Oh my gosh. Well, I would say like family part, a lot of fear and lack of the unknown and unsure of like, is this gonna work? And like being scared of the fact that I'm not going down the most stable path, as I mentioned before.
Yeah.
And then through friends and through like my other nomad friends are like so proud, so excited to see where that goes.
And the freedom as well. You must be enjoying that because you're now not tied to a time to turn your laptop on, and also you're not tied to a location. So that must be great to have that ultimate freedom just to go to events or be somewhere that you want to be for a month or two. That's pretty cool.
Yes, and to be living the dream that I've had since I was 19 at the Vias Festival.
And it's taken 10 years to get to that point, roughly.
Maybe a little more, but
a little more.
But
let's call it 10. Let's call it 10. But that's amazing because I think a lot of people need to hear that because they are skeptical of maybe digital nomads saying you need to make the leap, and they maybe want a bit more information about how to do it and what the risks are and what it's like afterwards. I mean, there's a point to doing it. You quit your job, you set up and you go, but the space that you're in now where you've actually left and you're doing it, that's a different ball game, isn't it? You've got to think about loads of different stuff, like you say, budgeting, what events you can go to, where you can stay and stuff like that. But you do have the ultimate freedom, and it is the dream.
And it's difficult because like a lot of people are scared of entrepreneurship, but definitely want those end results. But the curve is always, you spend a lot of time and energy in the beginning. You're basically planting a garden and you won't see anything for a while. So you have to like be patient and realize that it will blossom if you keep nurturing it.
Yes, work at it and keep the faith and consistency. I think obviously you'll make a success out of it and it would be justified. I think a lot of people, maybe controversially, this might be a controversial comment, want results quickly, like you said, without putting too much effort, work or risk involved in it, which is quite Well, it's not the way it's done, is it? You need to take the risk. You need to put the work in, be patient, I guess, and also be consistent and believe in it, because it's not going to happen overnight, is it?
I mean, it might, but that's because you put the work in for like X amount of time, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're like, wow, like I had like aha moments.
Yeah. Yes. That's a lot of work if you're full time, because you've got to do full time work, and your spare time's got to be investing in your new adventure. So that's quite a lot of work. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Dreamy. Cloud Connections. Have you got anything in the pipeline for next year?
Yeah, so I like the great thing about festivals is that they usually happen yearly, with the exception of a few where there may be like 2 or 4 years
Yeah.
festivals. Like Carnival was so great and super successful, and people loved it, and I mean it's dubbed to be the greatest show on earth. So we're gonna go back to Rio, but the dates are changed because it's based on the lunar and the moon cycles. So we'll have that in early February, and once I have more details, you could sign up for that, and
Nice.
there's a wait list to put your information currently. And then I have Holi in India, and most likely looking at the city of Jaipur in India, which is the pink city. And Holi is the celebration of colors and basically releasing your inner child as you celebrate love and joy.
Yeah, Jaipur is definitely a favourite of mine in India. What a place that is. Definitely worth a visit. And we're going to jump into your travels. Obviously travelled around quite a bit with festivals, but also previous travels. So we've got 3 places here that we're going to talk about. And the first one is China. When did you go to China and where did you go? Because that's a huge country.
Yeah, it's massive. So after I studied abroad, I had an opportunity with my professor to go to China when I was 19, like translating some documents from like English to Spanish. Like, thank goodness not Chinese, because that is a hard one to learn.
Wow. How many languages do you speak, interestingly?
3.
3.
So not as many as like a lot of the nomads that are out here, but at least better than where most English speaking countries can only speak English.
What 3 is that?
I speak Spanish pretty well, and then
Yeah.
a language called Telugu, which is from southern India.
Yeah. Is that one of the, is it 18 official languages or whatever in India?
I believe 22 the last
22.
time I checked.
Wow.
There's a lot. I wish I knew Hindi, but it's really based on what state is we're going to speak it. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of languages.
That's a lot. It's amazing. Okay, and how did you find China as a place to travel?
I feel like China is where I kind of grew up. This was in Beijing. I was interning at a finance magazine there. And I was around people that were like 23, 24, which felt so old to me at the time. Yeah.
Oh, no.
And just learning from them, and there weren't a lot of Americans there. It was like the first time I had exposure really to people from like the UK, from Australia, from other parts of Europe, and it was just incredible to get to be around these people that were a bit older, and be like, oh wow, okay. Like I feel so young, like what's going on?
Did you learn a bit of Mandarin, or would you advise someone going to China that they would need it?
I did learn like a few of the basics, and I do recommend learning that, because the rate of English there is very low. So just to have a better experience, it is a hard language, and you can say like I remember like there's a tone for like good morning and fuck you, or like the same tone. So if you could really mess up, like trying to just say hello.
That is a fine line.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, and do you see any sites like Great Wall of China, anything like that?
Yeah, so I did go to the Great Wall. We went to the Bottling section, which I think is the most touristy. And then I also went on a hike through some of the more like scattered or not as like up to date places of the wall, because that wall is huge. Like it kept all of Mongolia out.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big wall.
Yeah.
And would you go back to China in the future?
I think so. I'm not really sure, because I know that they're very strict. They did have really strict COVID rules. So I just don't want to ever be trapped there. So like maybe in the future, because I really want to go to Chengdu, because apparently you could play with baby pandas there.
Yep, I think you can there. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, the next country ROK. I guess that's the Republic of Korea.
Yes.
I've just been.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks
I,
ago.
I was listening to your podcast about it.
Yeah. Where did you go in Korea?
So it was another eye-opening experience. I was 21. It was part of a college course I did.
Yeah.
And so we stayed predominantly in Seoul, but we also went to a few other cities. And what we did was like tour some of Seoul's most prominent companies, so like Samsung and LG, POSCO. And it was just fascinating, like an in-depth view of the behind the scenes of these major giant tribals, which I believe is the word, with
Oh,
these corporations.
I thought Seoul was an amazing city.
Yeah, I loved it.
I had no expectations because I've read a few things that some people call boring, but I was like, there's like 100 different areas you can go to and just get an amazing view or get some great food or a coffee or a site or a temple. I found it really a cool upcoming hip city.
Hmm. And I had a great. I remember. I'll never forget Seoul because that was the time I had like my very first kiss. So I was a little late to that game, but so I would always make like a little joke where it's like my heart and soul is in Seoul.
Oh wow. Okay, I did not
Yeah.
expect that to be a thing.
Oh, I know. It was silly.
That's cool. That's
Uh,
cool.
yeah.
And Seoul is also accessible because they have the bullet train, right? So if you want to go to
Mm.
anywhere in the country, most like major places, the high speed rail is going to get you there in pretty quick time. Pretty small country.
Yeah, and both countries, both China and
Oh yeah, of
Korea
course.
have the bullet train.
Yeah. Any highlights of what else you saw in South Korea?
The DMZ, which is super cool. It's like, yes,
Ah, okay. I didn't go. Yeah.
but you can go to North Korea, so
Well, the reason I didn't
give
go is
that a try.
you can't step over in North Korea at the minute
Mm-hmm.
because of their COVID rules. COVID rules. So you
Oh,
are just going to the border. You can look across, obviously, but you can't do that step in because they won't allow it yet.
okay.
I want to wait. I want to do that to make sure that I've done what you did. So how was that? Like just that whole experience of the MZ?
I was like, are we gonna survive? And still here today. But like the people that are at like the border area, like take their jobs very seriously.
Okay,
Absolutely, like no facial expression. Very much like the UK guards for the Queen, but like a
right.
lot more serious in like, even more serious in their demeanor, if you can imagine.
Yeah, I think where I've seen it the most serious is in Vietnam. You can go and see Ho Chi Minh because they kept him
Hmm.
sterilized for 40, 50 years now. It's like a mausoleum, so you walk around him. The guards, like, they will push your arms away or touch you. They will not give a fuck. They will say, like, no phones, hands by your side, walk slowly in and out in 5, 6 seconds. And they're walking down the queue, like, yeah, you need to be pretty switched on and don't take the piss.
All right, good to know.
Good to know, yeah. Okay, Korea, loved it. Loved the coffee, loved the people, loved the weather, loved the aircon, loved the trains. I loved everything about it. It was brilliant. What do you think about the food?
There's a few things that I enjoyed, like bibimbap or
Mm.
japchae. I was afraid of kimchi back then, and I have conquered that fear since.
Okay, so you need to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah, as always. Okay, that's cool. And the next country we're going to talk about is Brazil. You just recently been.
Hmm.
What a place. Again, another huge country with lots of different cultures going on. But where did you go? I guess it's Rio. But anywhere else?
No, I just stayed in Rio. There is so much to do, like that you can stay in Rio and like have endless activities for like a month, which is amazing. And they made it visa free to travel for like Americans, Canadians, within like last year. So that was because they used to have $180 visa fee, which I think that they're bringing back at some point this year. So that's something I have to like really research because I'm
Wow.
trying to bring people to Carnival, and
Yeah,
a lot of the Airbnb or the hotels and hospitality industry is really upset about that because it was bringing in a lot of revenue for
yeah.
them.
And how was Carnival?
I feel like it's just so magical, like how Brazilians are able to like share and celebrate and show love through that festival. Like they just know how to have a good time. Like they are some of like the most hardcore like party people that are so passionate about it. It's like almost as big a sport as football or soccer is to them, and it's taken very seriously, and it's incredible to witness that energy, and I've never seen anything like that. And one of those beautiful things is that women are like able to dress however they want, and they're able to show like that this is my body, like love me, I don't care, it doesn't matter what size you are. It's just like such so much body positivity in this country as well.
I think it's known one of the most liberating experiences, right? I mean, it
Oh
seems to be.
yeah, I don't think I've ever met like people more liberating than Brazilians.
And for someone who doesn't know too much about it, where is it in Rio? Because obviously Rio's a big place.
So there's a lot of different neighborhoods in Rio. The actual event of Carnival takes place in the Sambro Dome, which is close to Santa Teresa. We actually walked there from the accommodations we stayed at last year.
Yeah.
And in addition to Carnival, there's also a lot of leading events before and after called blocos, which are street parties based off of themes. So like remember there's like Powder Puff theme, like 70s theme, Beatles theme, and then they even had a famous Brazilian artist come perform for free after Carnival was over, called Anita, and she had Jason Derulo also randomly there.
Okay. Wow. The whole carnival, how long does it go for?
So the blocos and some of the events leading up to the events, based on the dates because of the lunar
Yeah.
cycle, like I would say sometime between January for next year, and then they probably go towards the end of February, maybe cut through March. The actual carnival dates for next year are in early Feb. And what happens is that so that these are the performances in the Sambro Dome, to clarify. And the ones you can go to, there's two usually that, let's see, Friday, Saturday before. And those are like tier two samba schools that come perform. Those
Hmm.
tier two, whoever wins there, they have a chance to come into the performances happening the following week on Monday, Tuesday. And then the more tier one elite schools are all performing. And then from there, there are 8 schools that get to win and be part of the Champions Parade that happens on Saturday.
And is it free to get in, or do you have to pay?
There is an entry level, like you have to pay to enter. And if you go earlier in the year, you can catch some of the practices and the rehearsals for free. But it is like it is part of what I'll include within my carnival package for next year and
Okay.
retreat.
And where do you normally stay in Rio when you take your clients, or if you go yourself?
So the first time I stayed in Copacabana, because that's what you hear about.
Of
It is
course.
such a tourist trap. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's just like they're expected to have tourists there.
Yeah.
And so so the neighborhood that we go to now is Santa Teresa. It is near the infamous Lapa, where
Oh, Lapa.
um
Been there, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is a real, and then it's on the hill. And it's really charming because it's super walkable. It's the bohemian artsy vibe. And I learned from a friend that it is Anthony Bourdain's favorite neighborhood in all of Rio.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's a good thing. And if he's going there, there must be something good there. Do you ever go to Impanema? I know it's a bit of an upper class area, but I did like the vibe there, even though it's a bit pretentious a little bit.
I did like that, but as far as like upper class, if you wanted that for beach as well, I would recommend Leblon.
Ah,
That's
okay.
probably like the nicest neighborhood or most posh neighborhood in Rio.
Ah, good. Good to know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we stayed in Copacabana, obviously, and we went during the World Cup, so I don't really think we got to see
Oh wow.
Rio in its like traditional sense, more akin to the football, which they obviously love. And there's like parties everywhere on the beach. There's all these fan zones. Really great time, but I want to go back to see it in normal times.
That's amazing that you got to experience that, because Brazil is obsessed with their football culture.
Yeah, it's an obsession that I thought only England had, but it's Brazil's different level.
Yeah. Yes.
Have you heard the conspiracy theory about Neymar, the Brazilian footballer?
No, I
Okay,
unfortunately it's not my area of expertise.
the conspiracy is, and it has happened a few times, that every year when he's playing, he is either injured or suspended at the time of carnival. So he
Mm.
always seems to be unavailable to play football. And then you see him at carnival in Brazil because obviously he's Brazilian, he loves to go, it's a thing to do. But it's midway through the football season, so a lot of people think he makes sure he gets himself injured or suspended to make sure he goes and do carnival during the season.
He has his priorities.
Yeah, sack the football off. Okay, Rio, amazing place, but Brazil as a whole, what a place to go to. Do you have any ambitions to go anywhere else in Brazil?
It's such a massive country, and I guess technically I did go to the Brazilian side of Iguaçu Falls,
Oh
which
yeah,
borders Argentina and Paraguay.
yeah,
And that is by far one of the most
stunning.
incredible waterfalls. It beats Niagara Falls because I know you're in Canada right now. Like it
Yeah,
makes Niagara Falls look like child's play.
yeah, I agree. I do agree. Yeah, we went to the Brazilian side as well.
Yeah, they have the Amazon, of course, and
Yeah,
most of Brazil is actually covered in that. So it would be incredible to witness. And then there's actually a nomad community in Pipa that is starting to form and get more popular. So I'm keen to check that place out with
where is that?
Pipa. It's like it's northern Brazil,
Okay,
and it's just a super tiny, small fishing village at this point. But it's
ah,
growing for another nomad base, which Rio is also really great for that.
yeah. There's pockets in South America, isn't there, of these little nomad
Like
spaces?
Floripa,
Floripa, of course.
Florianopolis.
Yeah, that looks incredible. Get me there.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing. Brazil is such a cool country. I need to go back, and it's high on my list.
And it's great because it's summer during the European winter. So if you want some sunshine, it is
Dream.
your place.
Yep. And as a foodie, just to finish on Brazil, what's some of your favorite dishes in Brazil?
I feel like every country's version of fried chicken exists, and I really love like the Brazilian like the frango that they make.
Yeah,
Their classic dish is a stew with beans, the feijoada,
feijoada. Yeah.
which is really nice. And the Bar de Mineiro, which is in Santa Teresa, is known to be the best place to have this dish. They have a lot of like fried. Their take on empanadas is more of the fried style, or they call it pastéis there. Those
Pastéis.
are
Yeah.
delicious, and I've had like feijoada inside the pastéis, and that was
Oh,
like yummy.
wow. That's like combining two dreams.
Hmm.
Yeah, empanadas over there are sensational. I remember just eating so much good food there alongside drinking a lot of caipirinhas, which was quite
Oh,
dangerous.
such a great drink. It's such an easy drink to drink.
It's
And
too
it's so
dangerous.
refreshing.
Yeah, it's on my almost banned list because it's just too easy to drink, and you have too many of those, you're in trouble. Well, I was anyway. But yeah, what a place. Okay, I think Copacabana. I think you do have to see it. I think people would obviously navigate there anyway because it's the place that people probably know the best. But it's great to hear some recommendations outside of that. I don't know much about Rio apart from Ipanema and Copacabana because that's all the places I went to in terms of the place to stay or chill out. So that's good to know.
And it sounds like Lapa a little bit.
Yeah,
You're familiar with it?
yeah. Well, is that the steps?
Yes.
Yeah,
The Celeron steps.
yeah. Done the Lapa steps. I mean, we ticked off like the classic Lapa steps, Sugarloaf Mountain, Christ the Redeemer, the beaches at
Okay.
Copacabana. So we've done the tourist stuff as well as the football.
Perfect. You got to see a wonder of the world.
Yeah, that was actually, I've told a story before, but I'll say it again because you're here, is that we were asked to go into a UK newspaper. I'm not going to name
Mm.
them because they're pretty bad. They want a mid-page spread about the World Cup, and two media guys through it, one of our friends who's also in media, said, look, we need to do a thing at Christ the Redeemer. I'm like, okay, we'll get you lunch, you go up there, be all free, let's do it. I was like, okay. But we turned up and it was full. They wouldn't let us up.
Oh.
But one of the guys who was the photographer, I don't know if you've seen this on Google, but there's a Google image of a guy taking a selfie at the top of Christ the Redeemer like this.
Okay.
And it's that guy. So he was with us as a photographer. And the people at the counter knew him and recognized him and said, oh, go on, then you can go up. So he took the train
Rad.
up, yeah, and just let us up there. And it was heaving like there was no space to walk. But because these guys needed a photograph, they're like pushing people out the way, getting like a space for us. And they got a photo done. And yeah, they got the article written. So that was the Christ the Redeemer adventure.
Yeah, what an exclusive experience. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. We kind of stayed up there having a few beers, probably longer than we should have done. But yeah, that was amazing views up there. Incredible experience. Okay, so we've done 3 countries. We're going to move on to your books, blogs, and speaking events. So you're now a published author. So what have you written and released?
Yes, and like I guess there's a caveat with that. So what I've really done with like being published is more of like using that as a lead magnet. So I have decided like trying to find different ways to create passive income is like trying to like co-write with ChatGPT some books that I've like published on Amazon KDL. So that is, but then I use that as like a lead magnet to bring people into like my affiliate marketing or cloud connections, which those are two separate things. I have affiliate marketing as well for cloud connections, and I'm also part of an affiliate marketing company that sells water ionizers. So that the publishing is for that.
Got it. And Chat GPT, I have not investigated it, but I think a lot of podcasters do use it.
There's so much you can do on it. Like if you want it to create a rap for you about mountains and bananas, it's gonna like break out an amazing rap around that. Or if you want to
Right.
create poetry or use it to help you create social media posts, or even ask it to like write you a 10,000 essay about bird migrations. It's got it all, but it's also like the beginner AI tool. And at this conference, there's a few talks about how to use and leverage AI. And that is just one of many tools where some of these other AI tools are a lot more specific to your niche. For example, the rapping one, there's an entire AI tool all about like creating the best raps and it's focused on that. So ChatGPT is just like the gateway into AI.
Wow. That's going to change creativity a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a new ball game.
And there's a lot of like scares that it could replace a lot of different kinds of jobs. So that's where I think universal basic income, which is like everyone having a certain amount of money consistently flowing to help mitigate that.
Yeah, interesting. A lot of university students will be like, oh, it can write my dissertation. Done.
Yeah, it might be able to, but there's been like a case where ChatGPT, like a lawyer was using it, and he used ChatGPT to help him write the case, but ChatGPT just gave him a bunch of like fake criteria, so the judges completely dismissed it. So there's still a lot of ambiguity in that world that needs to be updated.
But it will get better, surely.
So, I mean, that's what AI means.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Ah, very interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of podcasters use it maybe for scripts for their podcast,
Okay.
or I don't know if it can like notate or even like translate your podcast, but it seems to be on the rise. I've seen on the periphery of some social media posts. Yeah, it seems to be fairly popular, increasing in popularity. We're going to talk about your blog. So you do blogging.
Yes, I just started.
Started, yeah. So what's your plan? Daily, weekly, monthly, and what's the content going to be?
So I have a plan right now for batch creating monthly, and then editing and putting affiliate links monthly as well. So what I've done is like create a content bank of ideas, and then we'll be writing about some different topics. And most of them will be about travel, learning about different cultural festivals, and digital nomad tips. So that's kind of within my niche and the people that I'm trying to bring.
Awesome. And that links us on to speaking events as well. So you're in Bulgaria now doing a speaking event?
I am. It's my very first time. I didn't trip or die or trip and die, and I'm here on the other side, and it feels so good.
What is the event and what are you speaking about?
So the event was for the Nomad conference where they had over 70 speakers, and I saw it last year, and I was like, I'm gonna have a goal of being a speaker, and so I applied. I think back in March, right before quitting, and I got it. I was like, what? Okay, and then that's just the first step. Is that you have to then like speakers do get to go to the event for free, but it is a lot of work in preparing the content and the material, putting together the slide deck, and then just like practicing it several times, tweaking that, practicing it in front of like friends or anyone that you hope would watch you. Um, and then, of course, on the actual stage day, like getting so many nervous jitters because I think the last time I spoke was back in high school for speech class. So I have no experience in it, and just all those little nerves. And The people on like the tech crew and the MC was just so amazing, and
Yeah.
helping to ease some of that, and then just going and realizing that you just have to talk, and you've been talking about this or you've been practicing for so long, and you have your deck as a reference, because I thought I was just going to forget everything. And It was insane because I it was one of the most popular talks. Like I like packed that entire stage with my topic, like from hustle to automation and building a personal brand, where I was talking about like high ticket and low ticket and the difference, and my affiliation with water ionizers, and how that's been leading me to a lot of success and learning how to create a brand, which then helped me launch Cloud Connections.
Mm.
And so just sharing that and having people afterwards say that it was one of the top talks that they've been to,
Oh,
and having people reach out and say that they're like interested in having like a mentor, and just all the new opportunities that getting out of your comfort zone allows you to do.
yeah, that's a great clip. That I'm going to clip that properly, about an example of doing something that maybe isn't like comfortable or isn't a regular thing that you do. Obviously, high school was the last time you've done it, but going there, doing it well, and getting praise and business out of it afterwards. I mean, it can't go any better than that. And are you in Bulgaria for longer than that, or are you going to leave and go somewhere else?
So I'm going to Sofia tomorrow, and then I fly out Tuesday, so I can visit my Dutch, I guess, boyfriend partner. We just made this like a little official,
Oh,
so we'll see how that goes.
okay.
Figuring out like dating as a nomad is a whole nother topic, but so I'll see him for a little bit before I head back to the States for a conference on the water ionizers in Vegas.
Got it. Okay, and I was meant to ask, aside from events, your businesses, cloud connections, etc., is there any travel you got coming up that's not related to anything like that? Just, holiday travel or a bit of vacation time. Have you got anything planned for that?
So I'm actually going to Morocco with my dad for a couple weeks, because
Oh,
he qualified to represent the U.S. in basically the Olympics of Bridge,
oh
which,
yeah,
if you're not familiar, is a card game. I'm going to go support him in Marrakesh, where the World Finals are.
that's incredible. Morocco, again, on my list. Had a whole
Mhm.
podcast episode about it, so that is a place to check out for sure. And there's so many places to see there. It looks incredible.
And the hammam life there. Oh, the spa culture is
Yeah,
like hi, go for that. If you like to do a little self-care and pamper yourself, you will not be disappointed.
absolutely. What is a website people can reach you on?
Either through cloudconnections.co, and happy to just book that Calendly call with me, or just like reach out and send me a message through there, and I'll be in touch, or through my Instagram, rainbow Rani underscore. I'm happy to answer any questions through either of those.
Okay, I'll put links in the show notes. Any other social media apart from Instagram, or just Instagram?
I also have an Instagram for my Cloud Connections page.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
Cloud Connections underscore.
Is there millennials? Is that your target audience?
Yes and no. Like I want to build a community of people that are enjoying this. So while I am a millennial, it doesn't mean that it has to just be about millennials, but people that share the values of aspiring to be a digital nomad, wanting to connect with other like-minded nomads, that want to enjoy a culture to its fullest.
Is there an email address that people can reach you on as well, or is that on the website?
It is on the website, and it is hello@cloudconnections.co.
Got it. I'll add that in as well. Okay, Ranik, we are going to finish the episode with some quick fire travel questions. Here we go. Hey, yeah, just a quick one. I just want to say there are many ways to support this podcast. You can buy me a coffee and help support the podcast with $5, or you can go to my merch store with the affiliate link with TeePublic, where there's plenty of merch available to buy, such as t-shirts, jumpers, hoodies, and also some children's clothing. Thirdly, which is free, you can also rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, or Good Pods. Also, you can find me on social media on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Simply just search for Winging It Travel Podcast, and you'll find me displaying all my social media content for travelling, podcast, and other stuff. Thank you. It's travel question time. And my first question is, how many countries have you traveled to?
I just hit number 52 in Hungary last
Wow,
week.
great work. And of those 52, which is a lot, name a top three that are your favorites.
I loved Croatia. I celebrated my 30th birthday in Dubrovnik, and the Adriatic Sea is magical. I really enjoy Mexico and felt it was super underrated because I'm from Texas. I'm like, oh, it's just in my backyard, but there's so much diversity and ability to explore. And I really enjoyed Thailand. The food, the people, the food is incredible. The culture and the people are super sweet and humbling. It's just, there's so much to do and see there.
Three great countries. Okay, and three countries that you've not traveled to that you would love to travel to next.
I really want to go to Bhutan because there's a lot of like untapped, like
Number
8,000
one.
meter peaks. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah,
my number one. Oh
yeah,
my goodness.
yeah.
I have wanted to go to Vietnam. There was like the Songdo, which was like one of the most unexplored caves in the world that has just recently come in that I think would be really incredible.
Mm.
Plus, Vietnamese food is also great. And then I really want to go to New Zealand because I hear it's like the landscapes and the adventures that you can do there are top notch.
The dream place, New Zealand. Oh, yeah, amazing. Okay, and what is a city that you would sit in and drink a cup of coffee and watch the world go by? Where are you going to sit?
Oh, let's see. Antalya in Turkey because there's beaches and mountains, so you don't have to choose. Turkey has a huge coffee culture,
Mm,
so there's gonna be like thousands of little shops to choose from. It's amazing.
got it. And what do you think is the best coffee in terms of tasting, like any country's coffee? Which one are you going to go for?
Ethiopia. I'm hoping there's a Tin Pot festival that happens there in January, and I'm hoping to also include like a coffee tour because I like without a doubt like Ethiopian Yirgacheffe is on another level.
Are you a big coffee drinker?
Only if it's good.
Yes, you should come on my coffee YouTube channel.
Oh my
We'll have to
goodness.
try and meet up and have a coffee somewhere. That'd be pretty cool. Okay,
That would be amazing.
yeah. Okay, next question is going to be three international cuisines that are your favorite. You can't include traditional ones that you ate when you were younger.
Well, I mean, I feel like I can because I've been to India and I am. So I'm gonna go with that one. And I used to
Yeah,
not like it growing up, underappreciate it, and now I love it. Um,
yeah,
and then of course, Japanese food is by far my favorite. The diversity of how much is in their cuisine is just like that's probably the cuisine I can like eat for the rest of my life if I had the choice, if I could only choose one. And then I like there's nothing like tacos. Like I feel like a lot of countries there's only like a handful or so that really have great cuisine. And I feel like they're going to be repeated nonstop because like they're exceptional.
yeah. There's very few cuisines, in my opinion, so I don't know if you agree, where they are great because you can have them at any time of day. So
Hmm.
Mexican cuisine, even though I've not been to Mexico, believe it or not, hopefully next year.
Oh, wow.
Um, I imagine I can have Mexican food, breakfast, lunch, dinner without a problem. So that to me is going to be a great cuisine. Okay, that's great. What about one view that you've seen in the world that you could live by and just look at forever in time?
That would probably be at the top of Mount Kilimanjaro, where I remember seeing the sun rising. I like the stars, like the most incredible stars that I've seen in my life, fading into the most incredible sunrise I've ever seen in my life.
Dreamy. Got it. That's a great answer. One of the best, actually. What about a lake that is on your list as a favourite?
I just came from Lake Balaton in Hungary, which is technically Eastern Europeans' beach, if you will. And
Oh,
it is in a massive lake. Went to Tihani, where they're known for lavender, and it is just a very like that's a dreamy spot for sure.
okay. What about a favourite walk, hike, or trail?
I mean, Kilimanjaro. I don't think much can beat that.
Fair. Okay. If you could live in a country for 1 year that you've not lived in before, where would you live?
I'll go to Japan. I've heard it's great, and there's so many different islands and cities to explore.
And if you could master one language that you can't speak, what language would you master?
Oh, I want to master all of them. Oh my goodness. But it's hard because it's like it's useful versus not. But like in terms of like with cloud connections and stuff, I think it'd be really handy to have Portuguese.
And what about one bit of advice that you would give that you may have been given yourself or you just come up with for kind of making that leap from standardized society, 9 to 5, working a job to a digital nomad? What's the one bit of advice you give?
Like nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you go about wishing and dreaming instead of taking steps to have an action, you're going to be stuck in whatever it is. And you're going to like, it's already halfway through the year. It's July. What were your New Year's goals? Take action. You still have a half a year of 2023 and you got this.
That's awesome. Okay. A favorite beach? I'm going to chuck one in there. I forgot that one.
Well, I lived 3 years in San Diego and I loved the beaches there, especially Ocean Beach.
Amazing. And to finish the episode, last question. If you had to give, you can have a few sentences here as to why someone should travel and go and experience different cultures and different countries. Why should they go traveling?
Oh my goodness. It's about like learning and immersing yourself, because it is what I would recommend as the best education is by learning how to experience or even order food in a culture, or getting there. And there's all these difficult challenges that you have to overcome. And you grow so much as a person just by trying to go on a trip or trying to travel and leaving what you know as the comforts of your home. And it's amazing out there.
Absolutely brilliant snippets there. I've got 3 I can think already I'm going to snip out of this interview. But Rani, thanks for coming on to the podcast. It's been an awesome chat. It's been super fun.
Oh my gosh, thanks so much for having me. And it looks like super sunny Canada, and what a great way to like. I hope it was a good start to your morning and still a great Sunday here. So I was really looking forward to it.
No, thanks for your positivity and your information. Actually, it's been like a unique episode in that. Like I can see that you love travel, you love what you're doing right now. It's going to really resonate with the listener. I think it's going to help a lot of people.
Yay! Well, I am glad to be able to provide that value, and it was so fun getting to go like get all these questions.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming on. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to my Winging It Travel podcast episode today. You can find me on Instagram at James Hammond Travel or Winging It Travel Podcast. You can search for both. I release weekly clips of this podcast episode, as well as photos from the last 8 to 10 years of my travels. You can also follow me on TikTok, Facebook and Pinterest by searching Winging It Travel Podcast. I do release daily content to do with travel and the podcast throughout the week. Also check out my website, jameshammond.org. There's content about myself, my travels, and there's also a newsletter sign up as well as a contact form. Finally, please rate and review the podcast on Podchaser. This is my platform of choice. Alternatively, you can rate this on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts from. This really helps the podcast gain a bit of traction for the future in terms of guests and content. And I'm glad to see that you guys are listening out there, reviewing it and enjoying the content so far. Stay safe, stay humble, keep listening, keep traveling, and I'll catch you soon. Cheers, James.